can't talk to her before she's dressed.
No, well, while you're waiting, you can think of what you're going to say, unless you want to find yourself sewing mailbags.
After the huge success of Downton Abbey: A New Era, there's been a lot of buzz about a third film, and it's now officially in the works. The 2022 movie brought back nearly the entire cast and continued the story of the Crawley family and their staff after 6 popular seasons. A third film was always a possibility, and it's finally happening to wrap up the beloved series. A New Era expanded the Downton world even further, juggling over 30 characters and multiple storylines while pushing the Crawleys into the 1930s. With this new era beginning, there's plenty of room for fresh and exciting stories as Downton Abbey moves deeper into the 20th century. This third film might be the final chapter of the franchise, which will be both a significant and bittersweet moment for fans. After months of speculation, we finally have a release date for Downton Abbey 3. The third and final film in the trilogy is set to hit theaters worldwide on September 12, 2025. While we know the release date, details about the plot are still unknown. The cast from the previous films is returning, with many beloved characters expected to make an appearance. However, Maggie Smith, who wrapped up her role as the Dowager Countess in A New Era, won't be back. Matthew Goode, who played Mary's husband Harry Talbot, might not return either, but there's still a chance he could. Fans are also hoping for a comeback from Lily James as Lady Rose. Excitingly, Paul Giamatti will join the film, reprising his role as the free-spirited Levinson from the TV series. That said, let's dive into the ending of Downton Abbey: A New Era and what it means for the future of the Crawley family in Downton Abbey 3. The sequel wraps up with a mix of emotions. There's a poignant death of a beloved character, but also new beginnings for the Crawleys and their staff. The film features Lady Mary Talbot overseeing a movie shoot at Downton, while Robert Crawley, the Earl of Grantham, and Cora, his wife, travel to the south of France to investigate why Lady Violet, the Dowager Countess, was bequeathed a luxurious villa by an old admirer. When the Crawleys return to Downton, their staff gets involved in the film production, The Gambler, directed by Jack Barber. This gives everyone at Downton a taste of movie magic, even if it's just in the form of extra roles. Meanwhile, 2 major romances among the staff advance. Mr. Molesley proposes to Phyllis Baxter, and Mrs. Patmore and Daisy's former father-in-law Albert Mason agree to move in together, leaving his farmhouse to Daisy and her husband Andy Parker. However, Barrow decides to leave his role as Downton's butler. The film covers a lot of ground, from Tom Branson's wedding to Lucy Smith to a touching funeral procession packed with humor, joy, and emotional moments. It juggles a large cast and wraps up long-running storylines while setting up the next chapter for the Crawleys. Lady Violet's death in A New Era marks the end of an era for Downton. Violet passes away peacefully, surrounded by her loved ones. Her death signifies a shift from the Edwardian past into the modern world for the Crawley family. Violet's final moments are filled with her trademark wit and wisdom as she offers guidance to her granddaughter Mary and her close friend Isabel Merton. Violet also reconciles with her cousin Lady Maud Bagshaw and shares her final love with Robert and Cora. As for Lady Mary, her transformation into the new matriarch is evident, and she remains steadfast in keeping Downton intact. However, her husband, Henry Talbot, is notably absent, away at a rally in Istanbul. This absence allows Mary to explore a new romantic interest, Jack Barber, though she wisely keeps her distance. There's speculation about whether Henry's ongoing absence and Mary's new dynamics might hint at potential troubles in their marriage, possibly setting the stage for Downton Abbey 3. What do you think will happen with Lady Mary and Henry's relationship in the next film? Will Mary's new romance play a bigger role, or could it spell trouble for their marriage? Let us know your thoughts and predictions. In Downton Abbey: A New Era, there's a tense moment when it seems like Cora might be dying, but thankfully, it turns out not to be the case. Dr. Clarkson reassures Cora and Robert that she doesn't have cancer, which calms their fears. However, Cora's confession to Robert that she feared for her life while in the south of France leads to an emotional breakdown for the Earl of Grantham. The film raises a dramatic possibility. Given the timing of Lady Violet's affair with the Marquis and Robert's birth 9 months later, there's a startling suggestion that the Marquis might actually be Robert's biological father. This would mean Robert's entire life as the Earl of Grantham could have been a lie. Coupled with the fear of losing Cora and Lady Violet's deaths, it's almost too much for Robert to handle. Luckily, it turns out Robert is indeed the rightful Earl of Grantham. Lady Violet's final assurance that nothing happened with her French suitor confirms Robert's legitimacy. As a result, Robert's title remains secure and will eventually pass on to Mary and Matthew's son, George, when Robert's time comes. While Robert and Cora had less focus in the 2019 film, A New Era gives them a crucial storyline, highlighting their roles and the future of the Crawley family. This significant plot development was a standout aspect of the sequel. Downton Abbey: A New Era doesn't wrap up the Crawley saga, but instead sets the stage for another sequel, even without Maggie Smith as Lady Violet. The film shows the family moving past their turbulent years and settling into happy new chapters. Lady Mary, while managing Downton and dealing with her absent husband, feels confident about her children's futures. Lady Edith and her husband Bertie are content and their children are well secured financially. Tom and Lucy Branson are in love, and their future includes inheriting Lady Maud's Brumpton estate. Additionally, Lady Violet made sure that Sibby, Tom, and Lady Sybil's daughter would inherit the villa in the south of France. Lady Isabel Merton is also happily married to Dickie Gray, Lord Merton. There are definitely a lot of exciting directions for Downton Abbey to take after A New Era. Even though the film says a final goodbye to Maggie Smith's iconic Lady Violet, the Crawleys welcome fresh faces with Tom Branson's new wife, Lucy, and their newborn baby, which opens up new family dynamics and storylines. Plus, with Thomas Barrow stepping down as Downton's butler, it creates a perfect opportunity for Mr. Carson to return and mentor Andy Parker in his new role. An especially intriguing possibility for Downton Abbey 3 is setting the story against the backdrop of the 1930s, a decade marked by economic turmoil and the looming threat of another world war. This period of change and uncertainty could provide a rich, dramatic context for the next installment. Considering that the series began with the dark early days of World War I, it would be fitting for the final chapter to explore the onset of World War II. This would offer a poignant full-circle moment for the franchise, allowing it to close the chapter on the early 20th century while reflecting on how the Crawley family and their loyal staff navigate the challenges of a new era. The combination of personal and global upheavals could bring a compelling and emotionally resonant conclusion to the beloved series. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. What are your thoughts on how Downton Abbey might continue into the 1930s? Do you have any theories about how the characters will evolve in the next film? Let us know in the comments.